Total darkness. That is the first thing you notice. 1 second, you're swimming in the open ocean, surrounded by blue water and sunlight. The next, a massive shadow rises from the deep. The water around you surges violently, like a vacuum cleaner the size of a school bus. You feel a crushing pressure, the slamming of massive jaws, and then silence. It's hot, it's slimy, and the smell is absolutely unbearable, like 1,000 tons of rotting fish mixed with methane gas. You have just been swallowed alive. But here's the million-dollar question. Are you dead instantly, or do you survive long enough to see what's inside? And most importantly, is there any way out? Welcome to the what-if scenario that has terrified sailors for centuries. Before we panic, we need to figure out exactly what just ate you. This detail is the difference between life and death. If you were swallowed by a blue whale, the largest animal to ever exist, you might actually be lucky. I know that sounds crazy, but here's the twist. Despite being the size of a Boeing 737, a blue whale's throat is only about the size of a grapefruit. They are filter feeders. They want krill, not humans. If a blue whale accidentally scooped you up, it would realize its mistake immediately. You'd be trapped in its massive mouth, pressed against huge sheets of baleen bristles, but you wouldn't fit down the throat. This actually happened to a lobster diver named Michael Packard in 2021. He was inside a humpback whale's mouth for about 30 seconds. It was pitch black. He felt the muscles squeezing him, and then, boom, the whale surfaced and spat him out. But let's say you aren't that lucky. Let's say you were diving in deep waters and you encounter a sperm whale. This is a totally different monster. Sperm whales are aggressive carnivores. They hunt giant squid in the deep dark, and their throat, it is wide enough to swallow a human whole. So let's go back to the nightmare. You are inside the mouth of a sperm whale. The first danger is the teeth. These aren't like human teeth. They are knife-sized cones 20 centimeters long. If the jaw snaps shut and a tooth catches you, the story ends here. But let's assume you slip through the gap. You slide over the massive, slick tongue and tumble into the throat. As you slide down the esophagus, you might think you can climb back up. You can't. The throat muscles are engaging in peristalsis, powerful, rhythmic contractions designed to force struggling prey down. It's like being squeezed through a tight, slimy rubber tube. You are descending 15 feet into the belly of the beast. The air is getting hotter. The oxygen is gone. It is now mostly methane and carbon dioxide. If you don't have a scuba tank, you are already passing out from asphyxiation. But if you do have a tank, you are about to enter the first chamber. Whales don't just have one stomach. They typically have 4. You land in the first stomach with a wet thud. You're splashing around in a pool of bioluminescent squid beaks and half-digested fish. This first stomach is basically a crushing room. It's extremely muscular. Its job is to mechanically pulverize food since whales can't chew. Imagine being inside a cement mixer made of muscle. The walls begin to contract, grinding against you. If you are still conscious, this is where the panic sets in. It is dark, it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and you are being crushed. Let's say, by some miracle, you survive the crushing room. You move to the second stomach. This is the chemical room. Here, you are submerged in hydrochloric acid and powerful enzymes. This acid is strong enough to dissolve bone. At this point, even your scuba suit won't save you. The acid would begin to eat through your equipment and eventually your skin. So, is there any hope? Historically, there is a legend from 1891 about a sailor named James Bartley who supposedly survived being swallowed by a sperm whale for 15 hours. The story goes that his crew killed the whale, cut it open, and found him alive, but bleached white by the stomach acid. However, modern science tells us this is almost certainly a myth. Between the lack of oxygen, the crushing muscle pressure, and the toxic gases, a human would likely survive less than 3 minutes inside a sperm whale. But we promised you a survival guide, so is there any way to escape? Your only chance happens in the first few seconds. If you find yourself in the mouth, you have to make yourself as unappetizing as possible. You need to trigger the whale's gag reflex.
If you have a diving knife, strike the gum or the tongue. If you have nothing, kick and thrash violently. You need to convince the animal that swallowing you is going to be more trouble than it's worth. Once you pass the throat, the game is over. So, the next time you're swimming in the deep ocean and you see a massive shadow beneath you, don't worry too much about being eaten. Most whales are gentle giants, but just to be safe, maybe stay away from the one with the 20-centimeter teeth. What scenario should we cover next? What if you fell into a volcano? Or what if gravity turned off for 5 seconds? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next What If. Stay curious and stay safe.